All right, guys, here we go. Here we go. I think I caught it right when it went live. So hard to catch that with the delay. Um, Hold on. Looks like a couple of places didn't want to go live. All right, we should be live on. Oh man, the X pages don't work. Anyway, you see us here on YouTube. We're on Facebook, so we really want you to go check it out on the YouTube channel. So go ahead and head over there. But welcome everybody. It is episode 7. Season 3 of Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. Me and Justin today. Shawnee will be back joining us sooner than later. What's up, Justin?
Not a whole lot. Just enjoying the nice weather we're finally getting and getting ready to get closer and closer and closer and closer to that first football game.
To some football. Well, I mean, let's go ahead. Let's get this intro and we'll get into it, man. Talk about some things. Yo, what's up? Shady Sports Fantasy Reports, Season 3, Episode 7, rolling into the season. You know, we're doing really early, and it's like we're getting closer every day. I think training camp starts, like, now, if I'm not correct.
I think so, either end of this week or start of next week, and I can't wait. I want to find out where those depth starts are sitting.
Right, so I mean, you're gonna start looking at it. You get in those PPR league, those 12-team, 10-team, 8-team leagues. You're getting ready to draft. So today we're gonna talk about the guys you shouldn't draft. I wish I had some like depressing music, but anyway, you know how we do it. We got our sponsors, Cash App. If you don't have Cash App, check it out. You get some money if you use it the first time. And then Manscaped, man, it's hot out there. And tell me, I promise you want these products. It makes your life a little bit cooler all around. You feel me? So let me go ahead and play these, Justin, and then we'll get going.
For sure.
How are you? Bring them things. Bring them things. I call the plug. Bring them things. I bring them things.
That's money. That's cash up.
Forever you and me, right by my side, where you ought to be. 'Cause if I ever were to lose you, I just don't know what I'd do. Let me hear you now.
Oh man, I love those commercials. All right, guys, here we go. Like we said, we're gonna be talking about the guys you shouldn't draft. The past few weeks, we went through and we broke down rankings, really early rankings as we felt, But now as we're starting going into training camp, we're gonna start getting news and hear stories and see, film footage and all this stuff. And I know over here at Shady Sports, we aim to be your favorite fantasy report show. So if you love fantasy football, most of the time you're usually not following everything, but you're following a lot. We want to get you all that information, so we aim to have it for you. So with that being said, like I said, today we're going to talk about the guys we feel you should not draft. And this is based off opinion, pure opinion. So if you have any doubts, you have any other feelings, this is Justin's list, by the way, so let me just say that, by the way.
This is all my list. This is all mine.
Yeah, so
beware, draft if you dare.
Yeah, there you go. Aim all your hate at him. No, I'm joking.
No,
bring us your opinions. Exactly. We want to talk. We love the conversation. Come talk to us. Yeah, we had Sailor's Mouth on a few weeks ago, and we're going back and forth. We don't care. Let's just talk, football, fantasy football in general. So go ahead and leave your questions, your comments, and whatever it may be. If you want to tell us your team, go ahead and leave that in the chats. But you can find us every Tuesday. We're coming at you live 6:30 on YouTube, on Facebook, on all the social media platforms, on the Shady Sports Network. So go on over, like, follow, subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like always forget to say that. So I wanted to get that out of the way
It's
and get
all
it
good.
rolling. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Justin, we're talking. We're getting closer to when you're gonna. I mean, I guess we still got like a month or so, a month and a half before you start
Yeah,
drafting.
roughly.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but still, like you want to look at and get your strategies together. I guess maybe. Um, but I think that's what my goal was with this was, hey, let's kind of get eyes on these guys and you guys make the decision if you want to draft them or not. But this is what we're feeling. You probably want to stay away from these guys if you have a choice. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as much as you want to have your lists and your boards and your constructed lineups for the people who you want to be drafting, going after in your drafts, but at the same time in your league, you got to look at those people where it's like you might be jumping into some landmines or some pits, and just this list is mainly just to give you a little bit of my perspective where I'm thinking as far as where I'm drafting, and necessarily just a redraft league. I wasn't thinking this list isn't for dynasty primarily. It's more just your home league, 10, 12, 14, whatever redraft league. Not even thinking about rookies or how old players are. It's just strictly based off their performance, what you've seen, and how I was feeling going into this year.
Yep. Yep. So I mean, yeah, I mean, with that being said, these guys, I do feel like if you don't have to, like, you probably shouldn't be. And maybe at one point they were lighting it up and they were the go-to guys, but they just haven't been that lately.
Yeah, some of them too, new faces and new places, and other times it's just Father Time is catching up.
Yeah, I was looking at your quarterback list. I'll just go over, you got Justin Herbert at number 5.
Yes.
How did Justin Herbert end up on this list? I feel like he's been doing nothing but be a solid quarterback.
Yes, he has, and he's also had weapons in the past. And this year, I feel is going to be for the first half at least. So this is why I factor in with drafting. In the first half at least, he's going to be getting under a new offensive coordinator. He's going to be having a new coach, and he's also got only Joshua Palmer and I believe Donald Parham, along with Quentin Johnson, returning from last year's starting receiving core for him. So I feel that he's on the list because I want you guys to be prepared for where you're drafting him in your drafts in your leagues. He could have a slower start than expected to where you want him to be and putting up points for you right away as the season gets started. It might not be there right away with Justin Herbert. It might take some time getting with this new offensive scheme with these different receivers and a whole new backfield behind him. He's got a lot of moving parts from last year not with him anymore. And I feel the talent is there. I believe in the talent. It's more a precautionary tale. It's not that I don't believe in Herbert. I just believe that for where he's being drafted, higher up with those guys like Burrow and Hurts and even Purdy, I've seen. It's just kind of be cautious and aware that it's not all the same situation as what he's doing from last year. He's got a whole new experience going.
Yeah, and I guess you could kind of say that for the other two guys above him too, Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, Kirk Cousins in an entirely new situation. Granted, they do have a solid receiving core. They're playing to air it out, but he's coming off that Achilles?
Yeah, and what I also factored Kirk hitting the list is that he's got fire behind him. If he doesn't perform, if he doesn't show up, they drafted a quarterback at 8 that I feel that the Falcons might not be afraid to just put in there if the fans start calling for it. If Kirk Cousins starts to have a shaky start to the season, kind of having a whole like get Penix in their vibe, and if that's the case and he's your starting quarterback, you just lost out on that level of quarterback you drafted for, and now you have to backpedal and regather your resources of how you want to approach the quarterback position. Because I don't think it's all going to be sunshine and roses for Cousins. I think it's going to be he's got a short leash.
Yeah, I would say if you get Cousins, because I mean Cousins is always up there
Mhm.
in points. You know, he's always leading the league in touchdowns. So I would probably draft Penix and just kind of just use my second quarterback spot on
Mhm.
Penix if I did get Cousins. I guess that's how I would
Yeah,
try to
that's
get
a
around
perfect
it.
way to do it too. I mean, if you're gonna go the Cousins route, have that insurance. That way, you feel less stressed about having, okay, Cousins, you got to be my quarterback this year. Stay healthy, don't screw it up, and don't lose your job. And you know, I if we get Kirk Cousins that he was with the Vikings, it's gonna be a good situation, and even better for Drake London and all those guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's totally true. And Russell Wilson, I mean, you just really shouldn't be drafting Russell Wilson
Yeah.
or Geno Smith. That's
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
think with the
on
new
you.
situation and just I don't know, man. I just not the eye test, and I just don't. I'm not feeling it this year. Like I'm kind of over it with Wilson. Like I'm, he had his good run of being drafted as your quarterback one for a good stretch there, but last year kind of showed, which I don't know exactly what the problem was, but I just don't think Russell Wilson has it anymore. I don't think he can give you that quarterback one numbers that you're looking for to stabilize your roster.
Who has more touchdowns, Justin Fields or Russell Wilson?
Well, I think it'll be Russell Wilson at the moment because the way it's looking and sounding is that Russell Wilson is going to have the job until otherwise. If the Steelers decide that if they're going on a slump and they want to switch things up, I don't think Fields gets onto the field unless if Russell Wilson starts doing bad. And I don't know what week that's going to come around to, but
Mm,
that whole quarterback room, I'm really out on. Like I wouldn't be drafting Fields either, just because
yeah,
I don't know what's all gonna. And you got Arthur Smith over there now as the offensive coordinator, and we all saw what he did with the Falcons last year. He pretty much made Bijan lower than his average draft position, and Drake London was a ghost most times, and Kyle Pitts was just frustrated. He wasn't getting his piece of the pie too, so that all factors in. I mean, the only way I see Justin Fields outscoring Russell Wilson is if Russell Wilson has a bad first half of the season and he takes over and he uses them legs because he can rush for those yards and get rushing touchdowns. Where I think that part of Russell's game is behind him now.
really. So you don't think Justin Fields can beat him out in training camp? They're like the same
Um,
quarterback essentially.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I think personally he could beat him out. Now, do the Steelers and Mike Tomlin feel that way? I'm not sure about that. I
Mhm.
think that knowing Mike Tomlin the way he conducts his team is that he's going to go with the vet at first, see what he's got, like he did last year with the Mitch Trubisky situation. Let him out there, see what he got, and then he went to Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph and all the younger guys after that. So, I mean, unless if Fields wows them in training camp and the preseason games and the fans start calling for it, I think the fans are going to have a big influence on that. If
Mhm.
they get mad at Russell and they don't like him, they're going to let him hear it, kind of like those Eagles fans. And if they're calling for Justin Fields and he gets on the field, but if Russell Wilson's leading them to a 9-win season and keeping the wheels on and getting them to the playoffs, then I think they ride Russell Wilson.
Mhm. True, true. And then I mean Deshaun Watson, it's just
Man, I've been checked out on him for years. It just, I don't know why people draft him. I get he's younger, he's got the arm talent, but he hasn't been healthy.
mm, at all. He's getting all that money to just I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good
If his
situation
toe
for
hurts, he's
him.
more inclined to just sit and rest than he is to fight through it and play.
Hmm. And then I saw one on here that was interesting that you had. You had Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm. I'm
What?
just
What?
not buying the hype. I'm not interested in investing my quarterback one spot in a
Mm,
rookie with, I mean, he showed in college what he can do. That's great. That's wonderful. He's also coming into one of the hardest divisions in the league at the moment. And he's also going to have to play in cold weather half the year, which
mm-hmm.
that's a wake up call for a lot of rookies. And he's also going to have to make everyone happy on that offense. He's going to have to feed DeAndre Swift. He's going to have to feed Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. He's got all these different weapons, and if I feel he's got a lot of pressure to make all those people happy. That if it doesn't go that way, it's gonna be really frustrating, and he might start playing that hero ball like he did in college, and that's where you can see a bunch of interceptions, kind of a couple dump games. But I don't know. I think just tread with caution. If you're gonna go that route, if you're gonna take Caleb Williams, well, I mean, more power to you. Hopefully, he has the ceiling games you're looking for. But I would just be precautious with he's a rookie in a really hard division and a really hard environment with a lot of mouths to feed.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense too. So we'll see how it goes. Because I mean, they're setting him up for success. You would hope that the coach is
they're
just
laying
using
the
all
table
of
out
his.
for him.
Yeah, you would hope that they're just using all their resources to make sure that he's in a successful position. But at the same time, yeah, is there a rookie that you would put at your quarterback one?
Well, if he starts, I would say Michael Penix, but I don't think he's going to start. I think it's going to be Kirk Cousins there. But other than that, maybe Jaden Daniels, because I think they're just going to let him let loose, and go with his legs, running all over the place, and try to find Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson and dump it off to Eckler.
Well,
I
they
think
have to. They have to.
Yeah.
It's the Commanders. Like they have to go all in.
Yeah, I feel like they're just like let him loose, like let him go. Let's see what he does right away. Whereas like with the other rookies, I feel like they have to have a little bit of more reserved nature in their approach to start off their years and their career, really. Whereas I think with Jaden Daniels, I think he could do the best out of the rookie class right away, being the situation he's in. He doesn't have like he's got all the talent in the world, and I think that organization in general has really they don't have really high expectations, so they got more like freedom to play with what they're doing with their talent, with their rookie group they're bringing in, and what they're trying to like form an identity. Because I don't know what the Commander's identity is. I don't know if they want to run first. They want to, it's like a mystery box. You don't know what they're gonna be like when they show up.
I feel like that's that whole division. Speaking of that, what's up, Sam?
Yeah.
What's up, man? Sam's a big Eagles fan, so I'm sure he's not happy to hear that about Jaden Daniels. Especially with their division, you know. Dak Prescott, right? He's the oldest quarterback over there.
Yeah, and that's another hard division.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be ready to get Jaden Daniels ramped up and prove that they made the right pick, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
prove that they didn't need to like draft up or trade up to get Caleb Williams.
And that'll build his confidence if they just give him the keys to the car and tell him to like keep it on the road, you know, just lead us to where we want to go.
Yeah. Just let him start. I'll count him for 8 picks against Philly.
I could totally see that happening too, because realistically, who do they have behind him? Like, if he ends up doing that, he's just got to keep throwing. It's gonna be like Sam Howell all over again. We're just gonna let him just sling it, run and gun, and try to make plays.
What do you do at that point? You don't have anybody to go to. So yeah, I mean, just like that too. That's why we're telling you, these people, like, stay away if you can. Like, you might get roped, you know, pushed into the corner and think, oh, you know, maybe I can get one of these guys. You know, it might work out. I don't know. I feel like
especially in a redraft league, it's kind of hard to like trust your lineup to a rookie quarterback. I mean, that's
true
compared to a lot of guys that are out there that you could get above them to like be like, nah, I want Caleb or Jaden Daniels as my quarterback. I mean, you better have a pretty good solid roster underneath it to make up for those down games that are gonna happen. But in a dynasty league, if you decide to go Caleb and Jaden, that's all good too.
Though.
I mean,
you probably have a veteran quarterback somewhere in your lineup.
Exactly.
If you're going with these guys, so it's different. All right, so that was our quarterbacks. We got Deshaun Watson, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson. Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert, and Caleb Williams. Don't draft those guys. Stay away from them. So let's move on. We're gonna move on to the running backs, man. And then hopefully soon, by the time the season starts, we'll have like sound effects going. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
cool,
We'll
cool.
have cool
Yeah.
graphics. So watch the show, guys. Grow with us. We'll get there. So yeah,
Hell
let's
yeah.
talk about these running backs you put up. And it's funny because I mean, a lot of these guys, if not all of them, were must draft guys, not even 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you got Devin Singletary, Brian Robinson Jr., Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, and then Cook. What's his first name?
James Cook.
James Cook. Yeah. So you got these guys, right? I mean, heck, two of them played in the same team, but I mean, DeAndre Swift, everybody was riding him last year until like the last few games.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Pollard, I mean, granted he's not with the Cowboys, but with the Cowboys he looked good. So what's the difference,
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, I'll get it over to you, Sam, for reals, cause we could use some more graphics, man. I've been trying to get it together, but we'll get it. I forget I have a
Yeah.
squad and a team behind me. Yeah, shout out to Shady Sports Network, man. Give us a follow, a like, and subscribe, guys. For reals, it doesn't cost
Absolutely. Share
anything
that.
to share. Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to share it. You know what I mean? No matter where you're watching this or how you're watching this, it doesn't cost. So just go ahead and share it out, push it out. Give us a like and tell your friends to check it out. But yeah, I mean, back to these running backs though, like, yeah, it is must, start guys. James Cook was definitely a running back one last year.
Mm-hmm.
What's different? Like, what's the difference?
For me, I'll go top down. For James Cook, I just feel the reason why he made this list is if he's going to be drafted to where he's drafted at, and you're going to have him as your potential RB1, is Josh Allen going to trust him in the offense enough to give him the 20, 30 carries he needs to get you a good solid 10, 12 points with, 100-ish yards? And they also drafted this big running back, Ray Davis. So could he cede a lot of goal line work to him? Or we've seen it in the past, Josh Allen just take it in himself and be his own running back. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel there was contributing factors there for James Cook of why his value could take a hit and why you should be cautious and beware of drafting him as your RB1 in your drafts, because there's a lot of things playing against him as far as him being that stable workhorse load, because Josh Allen in the past has been, he'll run the ball and escape if things break down, and he'll plow through linebackers and break tackles and even vulture some goal line work and touchdowns because
Mm-hmm.
of that. And that hurts players like James Cook who rely on a momentum and like a tempo of like, feed me, get me these carries so I can build a rhythm, so I can get moving those chains and keep them productive.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the second one, DeAndre Swift, I think he's going to fall victim to the Caleb Williams effect. I mean, all eyes are going to be on Caleb Williams and how well can he throw the ball, get to his receivers, get to his other targets, and he might not get that amount of volume that you're looking for in your RB1 in your draft for being worthy of that draft pick. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw with the Eagles last year, he started off hot, the Eagles fed him, and then I don't know what happened. They broke down at some point and their offense was lost and looked very confused, and they went away from him, and he didn't finish as well as he started, and he kind of
Uh-huh.
disappeared. And he was very frustrating in your lineups because he was most likely your RB2, at least a flex option, and he wasn't getting that point production you're expecting out of him on a very functioning, well efficient offense in the Eagles.
Yeah, totally true, totally true. And that's the crazy thing about it is like, but I mean, we're going off the past, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
but it seems to be a trend though at the same time as well too. I feel like especially with running backs, man, once they drop off, they're kind of, they're kind of done for the most
Yeah,
part as
it's a
far as like
cliff. There's no
fantasy football
guardrails on
goes.
this. They just fall, and it's
Yeah.
sad but true. It shows with a lot of those running backs is once they hit that cliff or that that peak, it's very unforgiving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then
So and
for
then go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna continue with the list. What were you about
Oh,
to
okay,
say?
yeah. I think the third one was Singletary.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, let me pull it up again for you. So yeah, no, it's Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. Him, I feel like I don't know what the Titans want to do on off because they have Tajay Spears and he picked up a lot of the work that Derrick Henry wasn't getting for a portion of the year, and I don't know if they fully trust him as their RB1. And the reason why he's on this list too is like I put it in this perspective. If where I want my RB1 is like I want the 15 to 20 carries a game. I want the confidence from the offense and the coaches that they'll get the goal line work. And when the crunch time hits, they're going to get the ball. And I don't know if necessarily Tony Pollard will with Tajay Spears and DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley now. And Will Levis trying to showcase his game and what he can do, that
Mm-hmm.
he might just not be a primary option in that offense, therefore not warranting that pick at where they're being drafted that high of. And that's kind of why I have him there. Like I'm not questioning whether or not because he's produced in the past. He's shown when he gets the opportunity, he can make home run hits and get you those big games. But with the Titans offense, I don't know again their identity, what direction, because they just lost King Henry, and he was their like workhorse. He was their game clincher of just putting games away and putting teams away, just turning back there and handing it off to him and let him do the work. But that's not necessarily, I don't think, going to be the case for Tony Pollard, especially with those injuries he's had in the past. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they want to have him carry the workload in that backfield.
Yep. So I mean, that's gonna be interesting to see. And I mean, he couldn't quite even carry the workload last year with the Cowboys. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like he was just a bell cow, just out there
Mhm.
just getting it. So that's totally understandable. But Devin Singletary, I mean, I feel like he's been on that fringe, like right
Mhm.
there list. You know what I mean?
And he
Like,
did really well with the Texans last year, but
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen the offensive line of the New York Giants, but it was the reason why Barkley wanted to get the hell out of town. Like, I don't even know any of those guys, and they've proven to get Daniel Jones hurt. And, like, I don't know who they're blocking for. So I'm just scared for Devin Singletary because if you're drafting him as your RB1 to, like, be your focal point of your team where he's getting drafted, I mean, he's going to have a hard road to succeed in that offense because it they couldn't keep Daniel Jones up last year and he got hurt. So I mean, he's the only one back there, so he's got that going for him. He'll get the volume, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to be like empty calories volume or if it's going to be meaningful opportunities in that offense. Because I don't know how often the Giants will be in the red zone or in parts of the field where they have the opportunity to score.
Mm. Yeah, it makes sense. And I mean, like you said, like they couldn't keep anybody healthy. I mean,
No,
I don't even know when Saquon Barkley's been healthy. I don't know the last time he's been
it's been a
healthy.
while.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. And then you got your wild card, um, Devon A Chain.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? Cause see, yeah, on one hand I can see it.
Hmm.
Just maybe he won't get the volume, but I feel like they got like the best two running back system in the league. I
Hmm.
feel over there in Miami. Um,
It's very, very potent and very effective. Like Devon Achan is a very efficient runner. And I
mm-hmm,
just think his production regresses to the means this year. Like he I don't think he'll get as many home run balls as he did last year this year because I think some of the defenses have figured him out of just try to contain him. Don't let him get outside to bust a big long one because he can. If you give him any yards of space, he'll just break it on you and go 60, 70, 80 yards and he'll kill you. He'll burn you.
mm-hmm,
But Tua's in a contract year, looking to get extended. Will he? Won't he? Is he going to sling the ball a whole lot more? Or is he going to be more reluctant to jeopardize his health because he's looking for that bag and he'll hand it off to Von Achan? more often and let him run loose and put the wheels up. I don't. I just. I had a share of Devon Achane last year, and it was very polarizing because there were some weeks where I was like, "Yes, I'm happy to have him. This is great," and there was other weeks like, "Why aren't they getting him the ball?
Yeah.
Like, put it in his hands." And that's
Mm-hmm.
what scares me, and why he's on the list is because I don't know if Miami is fully committed to him because they still have Raheem Mostert there, and
Didn't they
he's
draft the running
equally.
back too?
Yeah, they drafted Jalen Wright as well. So he's kind of sandwiched in the middle where he's got this old veteran alongside of him, and then he's got this new rookie up behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells me in the Miami offense that they're not ready necessarily to give him the full workload. But if you do decide, and it's just buyers beware, if you do decide to go with HN, realize you have the potential of getting your 20, 30-point games, but also reality is that he might also disappear a little bit. And I don't know, was he hurt either last year too? Like, did he miss some games with injury? I don't recall.
I think he missed like one game.
Because I remember
Um,
I ended up trading him after one of those big heavy games that he got,
after
and I
that
kind of got
Denver
a haul
game.
for him. Yeah, hold
Yeah,
on,
I feel
bring it
like
up.
the game after the Denver game, he missed the game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to log on to my Instagram.
I feel like
Post
that
this on
game though
there.
last year, the Broncos just dropped the controller and walked away from the TV. There's like you can have this one.
That was just such a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely like crapped a bit on that one. And then as far as like, but then the defense turned around after that game, so I feel like
Yeah.
it was a good turning point, like a good like, and we
They're a
didn't have
very
Justin
streamable
Simmons.
defense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which they cut him, so it'd be interesting to see where he ends up this year.
yeah. So and nobody's picked him up yet. That's the crazy thing.
Mm-hmm. So maybe
All
they
right,
bring him back.
maybe we'll see. I mean, that might be one of their only options. Yo, let's take a break really quick. I'm gonna do a
Yeah.
Shady promo, a Shady Sports promo. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some running backs.
Yeah, like who are people you're trying to avoid this year as far as running backs?
Well, I mean, that's about it. Because, I mean, everybody else, on the tier below that, you're not really looking at anyway.
Mm-hmm. Like on that list, I was pondering who made it and didn't make it was between Alvin Kamara and Zach Moss as my oddball ones.
See, Zach Moss and Alvin Kamara. I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara didn't really do a whole lot last year either. Is he
Mhm.
suspended the first couple games this year?
And that's what I didn't know too. That's why I was pondering because it was between him, Achane, and Moss, and I was like, well, he could come back and just be old Alvin Kamara again because they don't have really another option back there. And same with Moss, he's their only option, so he's gonna get the volume. So I settled on Devon Achane because he's battling for opportunities back in his backfield.
So
But I
yeah, he's
don't.
suspended for 3
I think
games, or was that?
he is.
Was that? I don't know. Maybe that's old.
I also know that he was like battling like for his contract or whatever, like something about money.
Oh, maybe it's So, and it's gonna be. I don't know. It's just gonna be interesting to see what the Saints do.
Yeah, they're a weird team. I mean, sometimes they put Taysom Hill as quarterback, and I don't know, it gets all weird.
Yeah, it's crazy they're still running with that even without Sean Payton. That they're still doing that. But shoot. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty good list though. Of 5 for sure players to stay away from. There are definitely others you could add on there. If I would, Javonte Williams. I'd probably say. I would probably even add. Oh man, what's Arizona's running back name?
James Conner.
James Conner to that list. Just off, I feel like he is gonna get some production,
But they
but
also drafted a running back too this year.
yeah, and they drafted Marvin Harrison, so they're gonna be trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
use they're gonna be trying to air it out as much as possible. And Kyler Murray is the running game. When he's
Yeah.
healthy, he is the running
Yeah,
game.
his
So,
legs, it runs through him.
so yeah, I could totally see. Um, I could add him to that list. Just kind of going off. But at the same time, too, like I could see him as a running back one. He
Because
is
he's
pretty
kind of like the
consistent when
guy
he's
who they
on.
just. Because I don't ever see Kyler Murray going around for it at the goal line because he still gets his goal line work with the
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals too.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say, oh man, what's his name? Just went over to the Packers.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. That's a hard one because I mean, yeah, he's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
But one, he's going to a new scheme, a new team.
Yeah.
And it's
They
gonna be
also
interesting to see what.
drafted a running back behind him too.
Yeah, and they still have what's his name, Aaron Jones, or
Oh no, AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones went to the
AJ
Vikings.
Dillon. Yeah, they have AJ Dillon over there, so they still have a solid number two who could be a number one if need be. And I mean, I don't know. There has to be a reason the Raiders didn't want to pay Josh Jacobs. There's
Yeah,
something they
that was
knew.
fair.
They saw him every day, so I could see him on that list too. Just to add a couple. But we'll keep it moving. So we got your wide receivers,
Yes,
and
sir.
oh man,
This list is kind of
yeah,
wild. This is where.
I could see this though. Like these guys have probably been on this list for a few years though. They're
Yeah.
just really like hit or miss, especially Addison. I mean, he's really been just really. Sometimes you don't even hear any, you don't get any points from him. So, yeah, it's
In
definitely.
other games, he's there and he gets you a couple touchdowns, and it's like, where was that last week?
And then
And he's
Waddle,
also
I
in legal
mean,
trouble again.
oh yeah, he just got a DUI, right?
Yep, that's his
I think I
second
saw
offense
that.
in 2 years.
Oof. We'll see what happens from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would probably stay away from him. Needless to say, if you're looking for somebody to draft, don't draft Jordan Addison. Even though,
Unless if you
I
really,
mean,
if you really want to risk it.
yeah, because I mean, he kind of was the bright spot when Justin Jefferson went down, but not really.
And then when Justin Jefferson's back, he kind of really took that back seat and was like, it's all you, JJ.
Let's look over here at the Vikings roster. Yeah, I
And then we got
mean,
JJ McCarthy throwing to him, or Sam Darnold, whichever.
yeah, they drafted a couple receivers too.
Oh,
So
wow.
I mean, and they still got N'Keal Harry. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. They got a lot
I
of
don't know what
receivers.
their identity is going to be this year, and they're also in that tough division with Caleb Williams and Jordan Love and stuff. It's not going to be easy to get your points if you're taking players out of that division. Every point's going to be earned.
That's so true. So I mean, I feel like, yeah, all those guys are trying to break in quarterbacks. It's maybe maybe that division. I mean, it is the North. The North divisions are known for being hard nosed in the trenches. So maybe we'll see a lot of running.
Yeah, that
coming
path
out of
for
there.
success for Addison, I feel, would be if JJ goes down, because then he's the dude again.
Well, and I mean, I guess I could see him being like the gadget guy too, kind of like a Deebo Samuel type player.
They could try to do that. I mean, he's fast enough for it. I mean, he's not as big as Deebo, but he could probably get past the line of scrimmage.
Right. So I mean, yeah, who knows? But definitely I would probably stay away from him. But what about Waddle though? Why do you got him on this
had
list?
a lot of Waddle last year, and I had a lot of notifications of my phone of like, he's starting today, quarter in, he's out, he's hurt, or like it was not consistent enough to where I enjoyed having my shares of Waddle last year. It was just, I mean, he's a young dude. He's fast and he's big and he can make those plays over the field. But like the idea that Tyreek still wants to keep playing, he's not planning on retiring, and he's the cheetah and the number one in that offense, it just hurts Waddle's value of like him getting over that hump or getting to a peak or reaching a ceiling, because as long as Tyreek there, I feel he's just a solid wide receiver too. And he's like he hasn't really shown either that he can break through and be that guy. He's like a very good complementary piece to that offense, but he hasn't shown me in fantasy and watching their NFL games that like he's ready to just take over a game and like take over the league. I haven't seen any of those big like monstrous like 100 some odd yard games and multi touchdowns. I mean, most times it's just a touchdown and like 60, 70 yards and a handful of receptions. So he kind of fell on this list because he's just not, I don't know. I think his breakout appeal has just worn on me. And it just, I tend to just, if I see him in this group of wide receivers where he's getting drafted, I'm okay letting someone else take that experience and see where they want to go with it.
Well, and also, I mean, his quarterback is Tua.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going off that too. We're expecting Tua to be a top 10, top 5 quarterback as well when, one hit could change all of that,
I know.
not even.
He's like the fine china back there. You
Mhm.
don't know if he's just going to get broken one play because he got hurt a lot last year, and that didn't help
Yeah.
Waddle either.
So I was going to say, yeah, there's a lot going into play with that. So I could see that. Well, Jackson Smith, is he over at Green Bay?
He's the number
Oh,
2
Seattle.
in Seattle. Yeah.
Mm,
And with him,
okay.
I didn't really I didn't have any shares of him last year, so he wasn't on any of my teams. But I also didn't like scoreboard watch or check out like the highlight tickers and see anything from him to tell me that, yeah, I should go and get this guy. I should go
Mhm.
out and pursue and try to draft him. He was kind of that one rookie in that class that just didn't really appear or just show or prove that he's had that big game potential. But I also think that Seahawks offense kind of suffered a lot too last year. I mean, DK didn't have that strong of a year, and a lot of the Geno Smith up and down roller coaster didn't really help his value either. I just where people are taking JSN and what they think of him, I think it's just kind of an overpay if you go out and reach and try to draft him. I mean, he is young. He's got that going for him, and he's got that college pedigree that he showed he can play college ball, but last year it wasn't enough. Kind of like Waddle, where it's like, all right, you did some good, but I didn't really see superb or like I want you, I need you on my roster for my second wide receiver.
Okay.
But that's just my perspective. This is my buyer
Yeah.
should beware. I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
no,
saw anything
totally.
different with him or.
No, I mean, I feel like I just never really paid a whole lot of attention to any of Seattle's receivers the past
Yeah.
couple years. Metcalf, of course, you kind of have to, but do you? Do you really? I mean, you're grabbing him if, he's right there, if he's there, and, you
Yeah.
probably choosing between, like, Metcalf and, like, I don't know. I'd say, like, Flowers or, a Tank Dell or somebody in that category, then yeah, you're probably going with DK Metcalf. But really, do you need to draft him?
Yeah, where I've taken him, I've never ever reached. He just fell to me. He's just there.
Exactly.
So I'm like, all right, he's there. I'll take him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that's kind of how it is with Seattle's receivers. Especially, yeah, Geno, he had a great run. He had a great first season. It was a great story, but
Mhm.
like, I mean, come on, And right
Is it
now, the
gonna happen
NFC
again?
West, exactly. Right now, their division's kind of weak. And I'm gonna say that, yeah.
Mhm.
If you guys you got anything to say, let me know. But I feel like the NFC West it's a little dull right now. I mean, yeah, you got the Rams, you got Stafford over there. He's probably getting ready to retire soon. Thinking
Yeah, I
about what
still
he's
think
gonna
it's
do
the Niners
next.
division.
Yeah, it's definitely the Niners division. Like Seahawks aren't beating the Niners. You know what I mean? Like, so
The
yeah, I
Arizona
mean,
Cardinals are just trying to get their feet underneath them and get
I don't even think
going.
about the Cardinals. Yeah. I don't even think about the Cardinals. Like Von Miller said a few years ago when, the Broncos needed to win, and then we beat the Cardinals. That's just how it goes,
Yeah. And
You're
then like
supposed
with
to beat
Deontay
them.
Johnson on this list and Zay Flowers, with Johnson though, he's going to the Panthers, and I'm just like, I'm kind of staying away from the Panthers offense again because Bryce Young didn't really show me he could do it or get it done.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't know what they're doing down there. So I don't know if he's going to be the main dude or if like he, I don't, he ended up on this because, yeah, he was really good with the Steelers and whatnot, but going into the situation he's going to, I don't think it really helps his value at all because
Yeah. Well,
Bryce was
who was it that went to the Panthers last year from the Vikings?
the Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I mean, he had a pretty solid season.
Yeah.
For what he was, like, yeah, definitely coming off the bench, flex player.
Yeah. And I just don't. I don't know what they're what it's gonna look like, and those are the kind of risks I'm not looking to take with my wide receivers. Is I like to get like a good solid possession catch that's gonna like dictate and like call for like 10, 12 targets. I don't know what the Panthers offense is gonna look like. They drafted Jonathan Brooks, so are they gonna run the ball a bunch? I mean, they also drafted that Xavier Legette, and they have a couple other younger wide receivers that they're trying to develop too. And I think Bryce Young just needs to get a whole new fresh start and like calibrate whatever the hell he's doing down there because that was really rough looking compared to like how CJ Stroud was in his rookie year. Bryce Young looked really, really rough. So I just don't really have that high hopes for Johnson to like produce the way he did in Pittsburgh with
Right?
Carolina.
So you're saying Caleb Williams is gonna have that type of year, a Bryce Young type of year?
I don't think it's going to be that. It'll be somewhere in between. It's not going to be like C.J. Stroud and how he lit up the league, and it's not going to be like Bryce Young, but it's also the Panthers. There was a god awful situation. I think it's going to be somewhere in between, but closer to Stroud than Bryce, kind of a thing.
Okay. Yeah, man, I totally agree with you too. Like, I feel like with wide receivers, there's probably like, 15 other receivers you can put on this
Yeah,
list.
and I don't like
Um,
typically drafting wide receivers that are going to bad teams because that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get the targets and the catches and you know the touchdowns necessarily. I mean, the offense has to function first before they can even get the ball. I mean, if they're
yep.
not getting the ball, then it's kind of irrelevant, even how good of a player they are.
hmm Yep, that's
And then
totally
Zay
true.
Flowers, I don't know if Lamar's just going to run out like. He hasn't shown that he's Lamar's one yet. I think it's like Mark Andrews and then nobody else.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Zay Flowers I think he's gonna. That's a good fringe pick right there.
Yeah.
I
Like he
pull Zay.
could, like I'm fine putting him in like my flex spot and
Yeah,
hoping he booms, but
yeah. He's
where people
probably
are
not most of
drafting
the
him and
leagues.
stuff.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's totally true. Um, I don't know. I guess I'd draft him in my flex spot for sure. Like if I
Yeah.
had my top two receivers already, um, and maybe like another flex, I I had him last season, and I thought for what it was, it wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
loss, because I wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't a
dependent upon
complete
him.
wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did have some solid weeks, so hopefully he can string together a full season this year, and then we can see something and see what.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, they kind of got a good handful of weapons over there themselves in Baltimore. Especially adding
Mm-hmm.
King Henry. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Zay Flowers
Yeah.
for sure. Because I imagine the plan is to get it aired out the first couple quarters. I don't know. That's my thought. And that's what you were
Yeah.
saying, the other week, last week, I think even. You got the first couple quarters, you air it out and get Lamar going, and then you got King Henry coming in the end.
Yeah,
So
to
that
just
should,
clean up the floor.
yeah, so that should hopefully open some things up. All right, cool. Let's move on. We're gonna move on to the tight ends. We got about 10 minutes left.
Yep.
All right.
Power through
So,
this.
well, yeah, man, we're getting it rolling. Thank you guys for watching. Always follow, like, subscribe. It costs you nothing to share. So yeah, pass this on. Please. We definitely appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us. Send us your team. Send us the people you're drafting. We're getting closer. You guys are getting ready to put these teams together. So let us know who you're staying away from in the chats, and we'll talk about it next week as well. So, all right, we'll get on to the tight ends. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of hard with tight end. I feel like this is the entire second tier of tight end. Like, if you don't get those first 5 guys, you might as well just not get a tight end.
Yeah. This is that second round where you're just like, damn it. Looks like I'm gonna hang out with these guys and hope for something. Because like David
Yeah.
Njoku, he was really propped up by Joe Flacco relying on him so heavily and just targeting him like a monster. And I feel with Flacco gone, and I don't know what Watson's gonna be capable of doing this year. And how that offense is going to look. Is Nick Chubb going to be healthy to like take some running? Is Amari Cooper going to demand a lot of the throwing from Watson? And is Watson going to be healthy and like able to even throw the ball to people? Is the thing. So that's why I have him there. Firemouth is kind of like a victim of the Russell Wilson Fields experience. Like, who's going to be the quarterback and who's going to get me the ball? Like, can I
Yeah.
rely on him to get like a few catches and 60 yards and hopefully fall in the end zone? Maybe. That'd be cool.
Maybe.
But I know that what I've seen from both those quarterbacks in the past, that might not happen. It's a strong possibility. Like, and then Cole Kmet, I feel like, is a victim of so many mouths over there to feed
Too
between.
many stars.
Yeah, it's just I think he's gonna get lost in that offense, and if he, gets a couple catches and falls in, I guess you can be happy with that. But you much rather would have liked to draft the first tier of tight ends before relying on a Cole Kmet. And then Hawkinson, from what I'm hearing up here and reading and seeing, is he might not be ready to go at the start of this year, and that's why N'Keal Harry has transitioned over from wide receiver to tight end to give them some more depth at the position. So I don't feel like the organization is confident that Hawkinson will be even like 80% to like ready to play come the season start. And if you're taking Hawkinson as your tight end, you gotta also be wary of like you might need a reserve or a backup because he might not be healthy to start this year. It's not nothing about his talent or his ability or capability. It's just his health is the one big issue that's glaring as far as where you feel comfortable drafting him and if drafting him at all. Because there's a really scary reality that he might be out 6 to 8 weeks, or he might be shut down just the whole year because of that late ACL tear that he suffered last season.
Dang.
And then Hunter Henry, I don't really know what the Patriots are doing on offense because they also got a new quarterback, new coach, new everything. And I don't know if they're going to try to implement him in to be Drake May's safety blanket or Jacoby Brissett safety blanket. But he always finds his way to get you, couple dozen yards and somehow a touchdown. And then you're like, oh, yeah, he's on the team. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Hunter Henry, you definitely, like, you just picked him up because you completely forgot to get a tight end and you kind of grabbed one last minute.
He's just a warm body in that position.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on, because we didn't mention your wild card for your receiver, and I feel like
yeah.
we forgot him, and I feel like it's been a big topic this week. So you got Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of see, like, if he's like, okay, I don't want to play. There's so many factors, like, but dang, man, if you got a chance to get him, do you not get him?
I'd say yes, do it. but I'm also very cautious of the situation he might be walking into if he doesn't go back to San Francisco. I mean, he's got the talent, he's got the ability, just the question marks with where he's at or where he's going or if he's staying or it's just too much of a risk for me to want to draft him. I mean, I'm fine trading for him, see and later on in the season, see where it's at. But like to draft him, he could be, a good wide receiver too, solid. But
Mm-hmm.
if he doesn't want to be in San Francisco, where does he end up? Like, does he go to like the Jets or Denver? That would be a good spot. That would be great. Opposite of Cortland Sutton, they would need something like that.
Well, they're gonna get rid of Cortland Sutton.
Oh, they are?
But I don't know. I'm just stating. I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
I'm just putting. I feel like they.
But that's what you're feeling, being where you're at, and like knowing kind of more of the situation. That's scary because then who's Bo Nix gonna throw to if Cortland's not there?
Brandon Ayuk.
All right.
Calling it right now. Hot takes all day. Let me see.
All right. Hey, do it. Yeah, that'd be great for him. I mean, that'd be great for Bo Nix too.
Let's see. Daydreaming. Thinking of Brandon Ayuk coming, and that would be super tight. If Brandon Ayuk came over on the other side of Cortland Sutton, and then
because they got the money, right? They could pay him.
I mean, they could pay whoever they want. Realistically, they have like $60 million more than the next, $60 billion more than the next richest owner.
Do it. What are they waiting for?
I don't know. Let's see if there's been any news. But okay, and then we got your wild card too for tight ends, Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah. That is based mostly off of like, if I'm not getting those top 5 tight ends already, I feel like he's the tight end where it's like, okay, I got him, but I'm not happy that I missed out on the other ones. He's kind of like, feels like you're settling for. Like, he could be good. He's shown he could be good with Josh Allen, but he's also been hurt too, and he's missed some games, and he's also had some games where he's disappeared. Like, he's either Josh Allen's like focal point and like, I'm only going to throw it to him, and he's also been like
nothing,
gone.
like, no points.
Yeah, so that's why I have him in there as my wild card. Like, if he is there, take him. It's good, solid, secure. Other than these other 5, like, I'd take him over these other 5 that I have on the list. But he's kind of like in that tier of his own where he's in between these guys and not quite up at the top 5 other guys.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man. I just feel like same thing as with the other guys. If you're drafting them, you're just kind of hoping for 5 to 6 points. You're hoping for, maybe a touchdown squeeze in there. Yeah, like a couple of catches here and there. Like, at least they get looked at, maybe a last minute attempt thrown their way and they like take it down for 25 yards or something. So, it's kind of hard with tight ends. Same thing like wide receivers, like tight ends, receivers. Like, you don't really have a whole lot of room, between like really getting points from them and like kind of not getting anything at all.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to see these next few weeks.
Yeah. So these guys, to summarize it all up, I mean, if you end up trading for them later on the season, definitely do it. Like, if you like them, go for it. But like, as far as like relying on these guys and drafting them, I mean, buyer beware. Do it at your own risk. Like, there's a lot of flaws or imperfections in their games that could cause frustrations for you in your lineup. But if you believe in them and you like them and you don't agree with me, which is fine, it's just my personal take, go for them, grab them and draft them and prove me wrong. And then show me your screenshots of them putting up monster numbers in the season and going forward. And like,
yeah, send us the screenshots. Send those teams when you draft them. You draft these guys, let us know. We want to see how it goes too with these guys. And if I draft them, I'll let you guys know too. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you can't draft these guys. Do what you want to do. We're just here to give you some direction, like we said. So, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and head on out, guys. Thank you for joining us, Sam. Thanks for chiming in today. Always love it when a fellow teammate from the network comes in. hey guys, check it out, www.shadysportsnetwork.com. Check us out on all the social medias on the Shady Sports Network. You can hit me up on X at 303 Bandwagon. Go ahead and follow, like, subscribe this episode. It doesn't cost you anything to share it. So, each one, pass it along. If everybody passes along, I feel like we could get like 10,000 downloads in no time. So I'm just saying that's a goal of mine. Let's get these downloads on the network, the entire network. Check us out. We got all kinds of sports going on. Something going on every single day on this YouTube channel. So don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. As I said, Shady Sports Network, Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. This was episode 7, season 3. Really, really early, coming at you before the season starts. Justin, you got anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, if you have any questions about your lineup, who you're drafting, who you won't draft in, you can feel free to shout out to me at Tashera on Sleeper and Discord. I'll answer you as soon as I can and as concisely as I can. I'm also on Facebook at Justin Tessier and Snapchat at Justin.Tessier if you want to snap me your lineups or send me a photo of what you're looking at, pondering, where you're drafting. I'm more than willing. I'd be happy to help you out. And also, please, if you're watching this, either live or replay, just share it, spread it around, and just it'd be really helpful.
Get it out there. Yeah, tell everyone. Heck
and also, finally, I'd like to say happy birthday to the greatest of all time to ever do it, to ever handle that ball and take it all the way. Barry Sanders, you're the greatest. Happy birthday. I hope you're doing well.
Heck yeah. Happy birthday, Barry Sanders. I'm definitely tagging you in this, so let's get it out there.
See? Go Lions.
There we go with that. Peace, guys. See you next Tuesday.
Peace.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.